Oh, it's time. Time to get radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Radical Comment of the Week for December 22nd through December 28th, 2020. These are the very best comments from that time period. Starting out with the three honorable mentions, we have Ektvar, Adam Capewell, and Rostopopulous. The bronze medal comes to us from Tim Ferrari. Hey Rick! Sorry I've been a ghost lately. Been taking care of my little daughter. I do want to say thank you for all the videos, brother. It might not seem like much, but we really love coming to your channel and hearing truth being spoken. The voice of the people that has been manipulated by the virus called YouTubers with Patreon. I still remember the first time I came to your channel and I defended MGR like crazy in the comments. But then I listened and went back and saw the blatant disregard of common decency from folks like MGR, John Smiley Pies Hancock, etc., and you were right all along. These sneaky parasites of YouTube using manipulation to gain money for their own pleasure, not business, and want more and more. Basement Jesus has to be the Messiah of e-beggars. Him and his apostles of liars and cheaters have been found out. And only and truthfully, only you have been the voice behind us. We the people that love gaming watch these guys and don't realize the subliminal damage they really do to people. $10,000 basement leak. Actually, $40,000. You forget, right? John Hancock's roof leak, Woodhawker's flooded apartment, and on and on. It's all bullshit promotion to donate to the Antichrist called Patreon. Without help from the Patreon supporters, this wouldn't be possible. Well, maybe Jason's wife is an enabler because she obviously doesn't push him to get a real job. John Hancock's wife probably doesn't even believe in a game museum. He's got a shed full of games, not a warehouse. Woodhawker's old lady isn't doing shit because she's complacent with him not getting a job. Young stoner mentality, laugh out loud. But one day all these people are gonna get kicked in the balls by this badass bitch called life. And it's sad, bro. Gumption used to be something. I could never just do YouTube and not work. I'm kind of like you, Rick. I've worked with my hands since I was young, from digging holes and doing slab leaks to quality control for aerospace, but always working. Their silver spoon handouts will come to an end once people realize that there are other amazing gamers out there that do the same stuff for free on YouTube. Anyways, that's my 2 cents for the day, and congrats on the new sub in this video. Don't worry, new guy, there's no punch to drink here. This isn't a cult of Patreon. Have a great day, Rick. Well, it's great to have people like you, Tim, to consistently coming here, and it's just so great to have people to talk to, Out of all this, through the years, I just really do enjoy, getting to talk to people, and I don't agree with some people, and that's fine. A lot of people don't agree with me and what I have to say, and it's okay. When it comes to Patreon and e-begging, it's okay that, a lot of people, you would argue the majority of people now that are behind e-begging, Twitch streamers, OnlyFans, these people don't agree with me, and that's fine. They're allowed to be wrong. They're allowed to be wrong, I suppose. Now, when you talk about Metal Jesus, I can't remember exactly what you said, but it was not that kind of comment you left me. I archive comments, but I don't think I have that one. I might. My desktop is a mess of comments and folders through the years. And you're here right now. Like years later, you're still here. You came by, you got angry, you thought, well, who's this guy, talking about Metal Jesus? I'll tell him a thing or two. And then you stopped and you listened and you're like, well, maybe Rick's not a bad guy. And you start listening to other people, probably like Art Bell and Rusty and a lot of other people, and you're thinking, well, wait a second. They really they're on to something here. You know what? That doesn't make any sense, what he did. But the thing is, a lot of people have kind hearts, and they don't want to really think that people on YouTube that seem really sweet, that seem really nice, inside are really misguided and rotten. People don't want to think that, If I had a dime for every time people came by and said, Rick, please, don't ruin this for me. Don't ruin those YouTubers for me. Well, it wasn't me that ruined those YouTubers. It was them that ruined the platform. And a lot of it right now is just ruined, full of fucking e-beggars. Thank you, Tim Ferrari. The silver medal comes to us from Juliet India Mobile. YouTube is fool's gold, and I leave some food for thought on those who see otherwise. I see YouTube and I can easily compare it to rideshare services. Before the pandemic hit, my job required me to travel a lot, and I take a fair amount of rideshare, Uber/Lyft. If the drivers are nice, I chat them up and ask them about the service. The response I get a lot of the time is the same as a full-time YouTuber's, that being it's crap. They started out and everything was great, but later on down the line it becomes unsustainable. The story's all the same. I had a halfway decent car, started driving for rideshare, and started to make some extra cash. The second I made 1 penny over my crappy minimum wage job, I quit and started doing it full time. It can get worse because I've talked to drivers who actually bought a car just so they could start doing rideshare. They quit their stable income employment to work rideshare because at some point they made a fraction more than what they were making. Then they have the audacity to start bitching that the income isn't stable and that they're afraid they can't pay their bills. Thank God rideshare doesn't have Patreon. This is no different than the mentality of e-begging YouTubers. How many YouTube e-beggars make that all-important whole penny more and quit their stable employment to set forth and pursue their dream, only to roll out the Patreon because YouTube ad revenue isn't stable? I have no idea what ad revenue payouts are. Honestly, I could care less. I have a really good job. I manage a multi-million-dollar customer account in North America for my company, and I doubt any YouTube ad revenue will come close to my pay, bonuses, and benefits. However, my point is that YouTube, just like rideshare, was never intended to be a career. I currently live in the broken state of California, and last year a measure to force rideshare companies to offer full benefits for drivers was defeated. I'm going to leave the politics out of this behind, but the bottom line was that if it had passed, rideshare companies publicly committed to pull out of California. This shouldn't shock anyone because the vision of rideshare was to have people commuting to the same place offer their extra space for a monetary incentive or a way to earn a little extra income without having a full employment commitment. YouTube is exactly the same. Get enough subs and viewership, and they offer you a cut as a means to incentivize you to keep their platform with fresh content. Nowhere from either platform does it say quit your job and make this your career. Now, for those who have been successful at YouTube without resorting to begging strangers online for money, or those who make a decent living on rideshare, I applaud you. You are a rarity. In this situation, from what I've experienced, and I'm not intending to belittle what you do for a living, my point at the beginning is that these types of platforms are not intended to be freedom from traditional employment, and everyone should understand that. These big YouTube channels who e-beg are mostly ran by scumbags who can't make it in the real world. They built an empire out of dirt and resort to begging or scamming people online. At least there's a community of people who don't agree with their practices and channels like Rick's who speak out against it. That's what I always say. YouTube is intended to be a hobby. Now there's exceptions. There is. You got, your huge YouTubers on the platform. And, someone like a PewDiePie is probably not going to go back to, working a traditional job because they are made men. There are made men on YouTube. The problem is, so many people think that they can become made men too. They idolize and they look up to these made men. And the problem is, just reality. Like, right now in 2021, getting on the platform and becoming the next PewDiePie, unless you really, 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 really think it's going to happen and you really, hit lucky with a viral video, I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. And when you see these people that tried to defend their e-begging by saying, YouTube ad revenue payouts are not happening. It was not our decision as an audience for you to quit your full-time employment, you dumbass. It wasn't our decision. It was your decision. So in the future, when it comes to ad revenue and monetization, who knows what's going to happen? Personally here, I don't make a lot in, ad monetization. Some people stop by and they say, "Oh, you're I forget what somebody said the other day. It was a stupid comment. And, there's this idea that, like, I'm suffering because they say, well, you're suffering, you're not going to make it. Your uploads are not getting enough views and that equals money and you're not making enough money. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. It doesn't really matter to me. I mean, it doesn't matter to me now because, YouTube is a small, tiny, teeny tiny fraction of how much I really make in life, And, that really, really probably bothers and triggers a lot of people that I don't need YouTube. YouTube more or less needs me than me needing YouTube. Just let that sink in a lot of people that come here and troll me and try to troll the channel and get really salty over my uploads. YouTube needs me. I don't need YouTube. But tell you what, I do like the comments and I do enjoy replying to people like Juliet into mobile. Now it is time. Time for the shiny gold comment, which comes to us from Sneaky V. People change over time, and James Rolfe becoming a father and losing his passion for AVGN is just the way things seem to have gone. James took a big hiatus when he shot the AVGN movie and had his first kid, and at that time, that's when it really took a turn for the worse, with James thinking too much about his future and how he doesn't probably want to be typecasted as just the angry nerd. The AVGN movie was horrible in itself. They made the character completely fictional instead of trying to approach it in a documentary-style video, which would have been better. Him introducing new characters into it to justify co-actors was complete nonsense, and people didn't buy it. He had some guy with experience in film with him, and he wanted to put out all these special effects and make the film like he did with his old indie short films when he grew up. But the hodgepodge nature of the film didn't work. The AVGN film also fell short of any romantic interest, which would have made up for the lack of comedy, which the whole YouTube channel is based off of. There was no blunt or explicit comedy in the film at all. Way too watered down, and instead of watching James' character as a modern-day George Carlin, we got a watered-down, angry, cringy nerd Jimmy Kimmel. The AVGN film was so horrific to watch for me, and I used to watch a lot of films. Why didn't James write in a romantic scene with him and the lead actress? Makes zero sense. Just because the wife was on set watching? Or he didn't want to offend her? He certainly doesn't care about offending long-time friends by kicking them off his YouTube channel. I would have written a romantic scene in the film to better balance it along with the comedy to the level being on par with the YouTube channel. There isn't any similarity between the YouTube channel AVG and the movie. It's just like the Game Chasers movie. It was e-begged to death to bring it alive, and it's only AVG in a name and has nothing to do with the show. Addressing the Mike situation directly, I went onto Mike's live stream on Twitch the other day, and the mod either blocked my comment from going through in chat, or he wouldn't comment about it. There weren't many people chatting on the Twitch stream either. The mod insisted I read the press release link, but I told the mod I'd rather hear it come from him. Even if he was kicked off Cinemassacre, it seems like very snobby to not address people in a Twitch stream. You're turning people off by not interacting directly, and it's okay if he wants to do that, but then he'll just have to focus hitting up his loyal fanboys for cash every stream as opposed to any new potential fans. Mike in general isn't a very likable guy on camera, but he shines the most behind the scenes and as a side character in the bits done by AVGN. The guy's writing, ideas, and knowledge of retro games are what makes Mike Matei valuable, not him trying to be a solo act. The Cinemassacre Golden Age was great. The Silver Age wasn't that bad with some of the collaboration videos James had done, but now heading into this Bronze Age era of uncertainty with the Screenwave dweebs, it's going to probably be the fall of the channel, or at least a good laugh at their expense of the demise as YouTube continually shifts and evolves in its obscurity. Yeah, you went to the live stream and you were trying to ask questions, right? Trying to ask questions. The weird thing is, these people kind of frame themselves as, just average, everyday guys, men of the people. But then they got the mods kind of getting in the way. They got the mods there, right? And I understand, like, the mods might want to stop, people with really salty language and everything. But here's the weird thing I don't understand. Looking at Mike Matei's record, looking at the the comics that he wrote, looking at the stuff he's exposed in the past, I'm like, of all the people that have mods, this person has mods in their live stream and a press release. Really? That sounds quite corporate, doesn't it? Mike Matei with a press release. Read the press release. Fuck that press release. You expect people to come by and give you money and watch you play the video games, and at the same time, you're a professional with a press release. That's just fucking hilarious to me. Fucking hilarious.